Welcome in. It is the local and community issues and answers right here with Jonathan Lawson. So glad to have in the studio today from the Cumberland River Comprehensive Care Victim Services, Alicia Hill, Jennifer Murphy, and Cecilia White. And we're so thankful to have you all in the studio today.
We're happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about the services.
Cecilia, you want to take that one?
The Rape Crisis Program sees victims of sexual assault and victims of other types of assault. We provide therapy, we provide education services in the schools, and we provide advocacy services, which means that we go to the hospital with victims, we'll meet them at the hospital, stay with them if they choose to have us there, and we also go to court with them if they choose to prosecute the perpetrator.
So you deal with a lot of people that are hurting and need help and need encouragement.
Yes.
So on a daily basis.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your work. What do you do?
I am actually the director of the program, so I'm the organizing factor behind it. We operate off of 4 grants that are state grants and federal grants, so there's some management of those grants that has to be done by somebody. I am also a therapist. I've been a therapist for 14 years, and I see victims of sexual assault also.
Okay, Alicia, tell me about your work at the facility.
Sure, I'm the advocate, so I'm the person who meets with the victims at the hospital. I go to court with them if they decide to prosecute, and I'm also a part-time educator. I help Jennifer out sometimes.
Okay, and now tell me about the education part.
The education part is a free service that we offer, and we actually go into the school systems, and I'll talk to pretty much anybody from the littlest people that you have at school to the largest people, oldest people, and I talk about different kind of current issues. I talk about bullying, which we have a lot of issues with right now. That's probably the most popular. I also talk about healthy relationships with the older teens, those kinds of things, what makes up a good relationship. I also talk about good touch, bad touch, and kind of stranger things with the younger people.
Exactly. There's so much involved in this, and there's so much to deal with. Give me a oversight of the education part. Like, how do you teach people to better protect themselves?
Well, really what we talk about as far as with the kids, as far as that goes, we talk about, you know, what you can do and what you don't need to do.
Right.
We talk about talking to their parents a lot. If something is going on, if they feel afraid, if someone makes them feel uncomfortable, then we need to tell somebody. That's the whole point sometimes is that they just need to talk about it. And that's what we're finding, especially with the bullying as well, is that kids are being bullied day in and day out, but they're not telling anybody. And we can't help them if we don't know.
Exactly. And Cecilia, you being the director, explain to me how the services got started.
The program started in 1989 with a very, very small grant, and it's grown since then. It's run out of the Comprehensive Care Center, which provides all kind of counseling services to anybody that walks through the door for any reason. Part of the way that we get referrals for therapy is a victim may come in for depression, anxiety, some other problem, and then later on in the course of treatment they reveal that they have been a victim of sexual assault, so then those issues are addressed at that time.
Exactly, and there's so many that has been assaulted and so many that may turn to drugs or things of the world, but you all are really targeting people to help them in a better way. You know, a lot of people feel like when they have something happen to them, like they have no hope. A lot of times they just need encouraged. And how do you do that?
Well, we do it in different ways. Through therapy we do that, but we also do it, we have support groups for males and females. They're weekly support groups, and they are victim-led, basically. They have to be at a certain stage in their recovery from the assault, but they're victim-led. There is a therapist there with them to make sure that they are not, that the people participating are not triggered and then are not taken care of later. But the male and female groups meet weekly. One of them meets on the Falls Road here in Corbin, and one of them meets on American Greening Road.
Very good. And now, Alicia, tell me, like when you visit the hospitals, you know that you have to deal with a lot of people. Maybe tell me situations that you have to deal with on a daily basis, like when you go to the hospitals or something.
Sure. Whenever I go to the hospital, I really never know what to expect because each victim is different.
Right.
They've been through a different situation. In the past, I've had to help find food for a victim who had been kidnapped for a couple of days.
Oh, man.
So it just really depends. I've sat with the families while the exam has gone on. If they, didn't want me in the room, but they wanted me to be with their families. I've watched kids. I do multiple things depending on the situation and what the victim wants and what makes them feel most comfortable.
Right, exactly. How would you all deal with somebody like maybe even watching this today that have been in a crisis or been abused in some sort of way, but afraid to seek help?
Well, the way that people learn about services is from events like this.
Right.
We also attend health fairs, those kind of things. We have a 24-hour hotline that they can call. They don't have to give their name, and that's 1-800-656-HOPE.